When Subaru introduced their all-new Wilderness sub-brand back in 2021, it became an instant hit for enthusiasts who wanted to go a little bit further off the beaten path. Now for 2026, one of their most popular model, the Forester, finally gets its Wilderness model reintroduced, and as you can see, it's built off of the all-new generation Forester introduced last year. However, for 2026, it gets even more capability thanks to improved off-road performance. So today we're actually out here at Calamigos Ranch in Malibu, California to finally see the new Forester Wilderness in the sheet metal, but now that we're finally seeing this new SUV in person, let's go ahead and take a detailed first look. Now, when Subaru introduced the all-new 6th generation Forester last year, they conveniently left the off-road oriented Wilderness trim out. However, they continue to also offer the Wilderness in the previous 5th generation for 2024. So for 2026, the Wilderness is back, and as you can see, it is now riding on the all-new 6th generation Forester platform. In fact, in terms of the exterior styling, I think Subaru has done a good job at butching up the look, because if you guys remember the regular Forester, it looked a little bit too car-like, a little bit too anonymous at times, but this definitely looks a little bit more aggressive. As you can see, this exterior color, this white exterior color, looks good with all of the additional black accents that you get with the vehicle. In fact, there's a lot of additional cladding on this vehicle. You can see the Subaru hexagonal grille kind of has this nice texturized cladding look to it, where it's a little bit more enlarged. You have the big Subaru logo there. This vehicle also gets a front camera system courtesy of the 180-degree front camera system, although it's not a full 360 like you might find in the Touring trim. And then as you can see, the headlights, these are the updated Hawkeye style headlights with kind of like a blacked out finish to it, at least it looks from here. You can see also the turn signal, however, is not an LED, it's an incandescent. You do have these LED adaptive steering responsive LED headlights along with the hexagonal LED fog lights down here. And then of course, it wouldn't be a Wilderness without all the ionized copper trim that you're gonna find on the front, on the side, on the rear of the vehicle. And overall, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I definitely think this is an improvement. I also like the kind of hood graphic here where it has that satin black finish to it. This is again, a satin black look, so it doesn't reflect bright sunlight into your face if you guys are planning to go off-roading. Now underneath the hood, this vehicle continues to use the 2.5 liter Boxer gasoline direct injection flat 4. It still makes 180 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. It all goes out through a linear electronic CVT. That CVT has been beefed up with additional cooling, and it can tow a maximum of 3,500 pounds. So that's an additional 500 pounds compared to last year's Wilderness, and around about 2,000 pounds more versus the standard Forester. We don't have, again, the Forester hybrid's towing capacity, at least right now, as of this filming. This vehicle also gets a lot of underbody skid plates underneath, which again are going to be functional if you guys are planning to off-road. And then in terms of the ground clearance, Subaru did raise up the ground clearance. You now have up to 9.3 inches. That's an additional 0.1 inches more versus the old Wilderness. So again, this is going to give you even more capability whenever you guys plan to go further off-road. Sadly, however, the hybrid powertrain is not available on this trim level. I'm hoping Subaru will rectify that sometime in the near future. Now moving around the side profile, you can see this is just an upgraded trim. So overall length dimensions are the same, 105.1 inch wheelbase, 183.5 inch overall length. The wheels are unique, of course, to the Wilderness. These are the 17 inch kind of satin black finish anthracite wheels, I think that's what they called it. It's riding on the same Geolander Yokohama all-terrain tires. They are a little bit wider this year, around 235 millimeters versus 225 millimeters. I actually think the tires could still be beefier. I actually wanted Subaru to do like a 245 or a 255, but you can see the suspension on this car is also unique to the Wilderness. In addition to having it raised up and the additional cladding, this is going to again give this vehicle even more capability when you guys want to go further off-road. You have lots of badging here that shows that this is the Wilderness trim. You also have some additional cladding along the side profile. These mirror caps, as you can see, are also kind of like a satin gray finish to them, which I like. And then the roof rails. These are the same beefed up roof rails that you get on the previous generation. They hold up to 800 pounds of weight statically. So again, that's about 100 pounds more versus the non-Wilderness trims. It also includes that panoramic glass style sunroof. I also like the copper trim that you see on the roof of the vehicle as well, which I think looks good. The symmetrical all-wheel drive badge over here also again has that ionized copper look. I actually think that Subaru would probably make this car look even better if they offered the two-tone roof combination that you found on the hybrid Touring trim that we just also showed you as well. Now looking at the rear, you can see this new styling language carries over back here. You have kind of an LED combination for the taillights. The taillight and brake light is a LED. The turn signal, however, as you can see, is just an incandescent. It boldly spells out Forester at the back with that kind of black bar over here that almost connects the two taillights together with the big Wilderness badge. More of that copper trim, which again, these are functional tow hook covers if you guys plan to go off-roading. And then underneath here, as you can see, there's just a single outlet chrome exhaust. This vehicle does come with a full-size spare tire. It's technically a 225, so it's not a full-size matching spare wheel, but it's nice that Subaru gives you much more versus just being like a temporary spare, which is not something that you'll find useful if you guys are going off-roading. Now, in terms of the cargo capacity, this is where things shouldn't really change as well. Subaru says you have around 30-ish cubic feet of cargo space with the second row seats up. If you fold down the seats, which you can do back here, if you're just pushing these little buttons, as you can see, that expands the cargo to around 69.1 cubic feet, which is, again, a really good amount. It's a little bit less technically versus the previous generation, but still, this isn't one of the bigger cargo areas you're going to find in the class. And then if you look underneath here, this is where you're going to find that temporary or that full-size spare tire, although again, it's a little bit narrower versus the 235. But as you can see, if you guys are planning to go camping, you want to go further off-road, this is going to give you all the space you're going to need to carry all your gear. Now, moving on to the interior of the 2026 Subaru Forester Wilderness. First off, you guys like the interior color of the previous generation. This is where Subaru pretty much carried over things. This is their StarTex leatherette interior. This is essentially an interior that you could essentially get wet. It's very durable, and they also added kind of like a textured finish. So you can see there's like the Star logos in the actual seat cushion itself, along with the anodized copper contrast trim and the Subaru Wilderness badging that you're going to find embossed in the actual head restraints. On the steering wheel, you can see it has more of that anodized copper look, along with these paddles to control the 8 virtual gears in the Lineartronic CVT. Dashboard materials, as you can see, or door panel materials, is the soft touch injection molded plastic. More of that StarTex here on the door panel, along with the Wilderness branding. The front windows are one touch up and down for both the front. However, the rears are not one touch. That's the same thing that I showed you in the hybrid touring. Slightly padded over here along with some additional storage. And then in terms of the dash design, you can see this upper portion is hard touch plastic over the instrument panel hood, but this is soft touch along with more of that texturized look with the anodized copper. And you can see this is kind of interesting. This almost reminds me of Mercedes, something in their EQ products, but hey, it looks definitely very interesting. And then in terms of the technology, all Wilderness trims will come with the 11.6-inch Subaru Starlink head unit. Navigation is going to be included. If you guys go for the option package that includes it, it has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And if you guys also get the option package for nav and the Harman Kardon stereo, you'll also get the company's fully digital 12.3-inch instrument cluster. Now, I showed you guys this cluster in the Subaru Forester Hybrid and in the Subaru WRX TS. This cluster is slightly customizable. If you want to put your actual Apple Maps in here, along with your GPS, along with your driver assistance information, you can certainly do so. This is a really early first look, but you can see it kind of has the Subaru Wilderness badging there. These steering wheel itself also has a manual tilt and telescoping adjustment with lots of additional adjustability. These seats are also heated in 3 different ways. The driver's seat is also an 8-way power, but includes a 2-person memory, so technically it's a 10-way power. This passenger seat, however, is just a manual seat. So that's something where the Forester Wilderness kind of slots in between, I believe, a limited and a touring, although it technically doesn't give you some of the features that the limited might give you in general. Down over here in the center console, you can see wireless phone charging pad, 2 USB charging ports, a C and an A. I also like the fact that the shifter is conventional, which includes that manual mode with the anodized copper. Push that button here, you can see that pulls up your front camera, although it's not the full 360 camera that I showed you on the Touring Hybrid. So the graphics there aren't the best, so I was kind of hoping Subaru would have thrown in the full 360 camera. I think a Wilderness trim should include that. Over here, you can see console's nice and padded. Additional storage over here, which is nice for covered storage. You have a 12-volt power outlet over here. And then these seats are pretty comfortable and supportive. And I love the fact that the StarTex is one of the most durable seat materials that you're going to find. You can essentially get this muddy. You can almost, I want to say hose it out, but if you got this all wet and dirty, it wouldn't really matter. It should just wipe off, which is very, very nice. Above me, you can see that big sunroof lets in a lot of light. You can also open it up if you'd like to vent air, although it's not the most dark tinted sunroof. That's something that I've always noticed about the Subaru Forester is I think it should be a little bit more dark tinted. The rear view mirror, as you can see, is not auto dimming, and there's no digital camera mirror. And then you can see the map lights here above me are also LED, which is pretty nice. I also have a ton of headroom space. But let's go ahead and hop into the backseat area. I can show you guys what that space is like. Now, one of the reasons why the Forester is so popular is because this vehicle offers a ton of rear seat legroom space. Now, at 39.5 inches, this is again near the top of the class. I also noticed there's also that same stadium style seating where the rear seat feels like it's raised up pretty high. Material quality back here is downgraded. You have hard touch plastic along with this kind of plasticky door handle material. At least it's that StarTex over here, slightly padded over here, which is nice. The windows are obviously tinted. The floor is not completely flat, but you can fit 3 people across. There's plenty of foot space. Like I said, there's 2 storage cubbies here, along with your rear seat air vents. It's nice how Subaru includes that in this trim over here with 2 USB ports, although you lose the heated seat functionality that I showed you in the Touring grade. And then if you fold down the armrest here, you can see cup holders, and it's a nice storage area. You can see nice headroom space, although the sunroof does eat into the headroom a little bit. But overall, if you guys are, again, planning to use this as a family vehicle, the Forester Wilderness will certainly do that very well. Now, as the second best-selling model in the Subaru portfolio, the Forester is obviously a really important vehicle, and we've been waiting for the company to reintroduce the Wilderness trim, and after finally seeing the new Wilderness in person, it's pretty much what I expected it to be. I like the fact that Subaru improved the off-road performance by giving it a little bit more ground clearance, a little bit wider tires. I also like some of the tech improvements they've made with the larger 11.6-inch display and the fully digital 12.3-inch cluster. I'm a little bit sad that you can't get the hybrid powertrain in the Wilderness. I think it would be a great addition, considering the fact that the hybrid uses the same conventional symmetrical all-wheel drive system. It should preserve the off-road capability while improving the performance and the fuel efficiency, which, by the way, we don't have the final fuel economy figures of this model just yet. The regular Forester is around 26 or 29.33. I expect this model to be a couple mpg lower because, again, of the additional ground clearance and the all-terrain tires, which will affect the aerodynamics. But if you guys are looking to get your hands on the Forester Wilderness, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Subaru says these will be heading to dealerships in fall of 2025. That's why it's going to be a 2026 model year. And in terms of pricing, we don't have the final pricing. The regular Forester starts at just under 30 grand for the premium trim. Remember, all-wheel drive is standard. Their old 2024 Forester Wilderness started at just under 35 grand, was around 36,000 and change if you guys added that option package. I expect this model to kind of slot in between the Limited and the Touring. The Limited is around 36 grand, the Touring is around 40 grand. So if Subaru made this vehicle started at around 37,000, I think it's still a relatively good deal. But just keep in mind, Subaru won't have that final pricing until we get closer to that on sale date. But I hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview here on the brand new 2026 Subaru Forester in the all new Wilderness trim. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.